Alright, hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I wanted to make a review video for the HitBox Arcade controller. So I've been using this for quite a while, so I think it's about time that I made a video on my thoughts and yeah, see if I would recommend for other people who are looking to buy this particular controller. So the price of one of these things is $200. So if you were to compare it to other controllers, this would be in the same ballpark as the Combo Obsidian, the Omni Arcade, and the Razer Aatrox. Yes. The controller uses a custom Brooks board, so that means that you can run it on PS4, the Switch, and PC. Another thing that they've done is apparently they've slimmed down the profile of this controller, so I've measured it to be around 4 centimeters, I think. So originally it was around 5.5 centimeters according to a friend. That's pretty neat. So it also comes with a detachable braided cable that runs about 3 meters long. The controller comes with Sanwa Denshi buttons. I've unfortunately swapped them out with what's called gamer finger buttons because I just prefer gamer finger buttons. But if you're a fan of Sanwa Denshi buttons, then you won't go wrong with those ones. Yeah, they're perfectly fine. I'm not saying anything wrong with Sanwa Denshi buttons. Yeah. So this model actually comes with a non-slip button bottom. So you can see it's made of type of foam. I'm not sure exactly what kind of foam it is, but yeah, before it used to be just metal and with legs, actually, like little stubby legs on the corner. So out of the box, it comes with a sling bag. It doesn't really protect the controller in any way, but it's great that they have it because it's a very, very convenient thing to just, have it on your side if you're walking around with it, or if you're at locals and want something to quickly hang out without keeping your hands free. And another thing is the weight. I really enjoy the weight. It's much lighter than a fight stick. I've been using fight sticks before I've been using this controller, and I must say, when I first picked this up, I was worried that it wasn't going to be as light as other competitor all button controllers out there, but to be honest, the weight of this is, not very noticeable, and in fact, it's very nice. It's a very good balance between heft and lightness. Yeah, it's there. It's sturdy, but at the same time, your hands don't really it doesn't really carrying it around when you traveling or whatever. It's feels like nothing, which is awesome. I also really like the size of this controller too. So the size. It has a lot of space around this side here. The buttons are here. However, there's a lot of free space here and here. While it's great for art, I really enjoy it for the space that it allows you to rest it on your legs. So a lot of times I play, on chairs, but mostly sometimes I play cross-legged on the floor. Living in Japan, sometimes, there aren't any chairs, or low chairs. Having a control like this is really useful because it actually, is long enough to support your legs. Also, the width of the controller is short enough that when you rest your hands on it, you're not really resting your palms. It doesn't really have any space to rest your palms. So apparently, resting your palms, when you play resting your palms, it's very bad for your wrists. So I'm not sure if this was intentional, but this was a very smart choice to design it so that, there's not much space here. So it kind of forces you to play as intended, with your kind of hand wrist raised above. I thought that was pretty cool too. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the detachable cable. The detachable cable is amazing. So it has an inbuilt rubber tie, so it allows you to just, be able to roll it up at any time and keep it organized. You don't need to buy your own rubber bands or anything. It's really convenient. The jack itself is molded so that you can always tell which way is up. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing because my previous controller didn't have that, so you'd actually have to eyeball it whenever you had to plug in your controller. And when you're in a tournament setting or you're just wanting to get set up as fast as possible, it's kind of annoying to be having to do that all the time. While with this controller, you just have to feel for it, and then, you can just find where up is, just plug it in. super convenient. So talk about the insides. The cable management, when I opened it, I was really surprised on how neat the cable management was. I've seen videos of previous models. They were all over the place, so it's really nice that they've managed to improve it on this model with the cable management, which made changing the buttons a whole lot, easier and, less frustrating at all. Yeah. You do have to get the screws out, but, other than that, it's super simple to customize with the changing out any buttons, yeah. Now, the side buttons here, they are not Sunmo buttons. They're kind of, I've asked around, and apparently there's some sort of, knockoff Chinese brand. But the thing is, the way these are designed is that they kind of have this stiffness to it, so it's kind of actually harder to press compared to a Sunmo button. It's not sensitive at all, and that's amazing because these are it's the start button, the select button, or the PlayStation button if you're on PlayStation. You don't want to be pressing these buttons by accident during a match. The fact that they've decided to use these buttons, I think that was pretty genius actually. I really like this, even though it is some sort of, cheap button. Yeah, but something to be aware of if you're looking into if you want every single piece of this controller to be, perfect. But, I think it's kind of a roundabout way, but yeah, it's really cool. So overall, yeah, I feel the design choices are they're very smart and discreet. Of course, the design is very clean, very white with the HitBox logo. Of course, they do allow you to customize. You can just take these pegs out, and I think you can replace the art. You can make it your own. Some things that I was about iffy about with this controller is the fact that this pad, actually, I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it chips. So if you're something to be aware of when you're buying this controller, the quality of this pad, I feel it could be improved. So the corner of this pad, it's it's chipping off, so it's not a sturdy pad. It's soft, which is good. I still prefer this over their previous model because I've been using fight sticks before, and they've had a soft pad bottom to place on your lap, and placing the controller on your lap is the most ideal for me. I wouldn't not want to put this on a table. Some places don't even give you the option of that, locals or tournaments. Not a deal breaker for me, but it might be for some. The quality of this, if they could improve it any further, I would say this would be a start. The material of this pad, yeah. And okay, another big issue is right now, I think a lot of people are asking, is the compatibility with PlayStation 5. So because this is a custom Brooks board, it's actually not officially licensed by PlayStation. So so far they've had the coding or technology or however fights boards work for PlayStation 4 up until now, but for now PlayStation 5 has there is no compatibility at the moment. That might be a deal breaker for some. However, yeah, the guys at HitBox say they're working on it. Worst case scenario is you'd have to change the board. That's about it. And it's not pricey, but that's all it is really to it. Best case scenario is firmware update. You just plug it in the computer and it'll update. That allows you to play with PlayStation 5. That would be the best case scenario. But for now, we're in this kind of information limbo where we don't know what's going to happen. So if that's something that you really if you only have a PlayStation 5, then maybe this is something you should hold out on for sure. Yeah, you probably know that there are other controllers out there. So what makes those controllers better than this controller? So because this controller is all buttons, you can actually get this to be smaller, and there are controllers that are very, very, very form factor. They are so small, it's amazing. I think there's the Stack Box and the Paradise Arcade version. Yeah, they can fit in a laptop bag, or even smaller than a laptop bag. It's really crazy. And because of the way that all button controllers are designed, because it's not going to be moving around in your lap because you're pressing down. So therefore, you can get much smaller controllers and be fine, completely fine. If you're more into controllers that you can just take anywhere, if the idea of bringing a controller anywhere at any time and just having a controller on you at all times, and then being able to like bring it out, play fighting games or whatever games you want, seems like an awesome idea, then maybe you should be looking in that at those controllers instead of this one. While this controller is not really heavy per se, the size does require a bag that kind of fits it. And right now I'm not using any bags that actually fit this. So when I do want to bring it out, I actually have to think about what bag I want to bring out. If I had a smaller controller, that wouldn't be a problem because I have a smaller bag all times. Yeah. So now I'm going to go through my personal thoughts of this controller. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you would give a like. And if there's any questions that you have after the video, feel free to leave a comment and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. I'll be happy to make more about stuff like this. Yeah. So I talked about the pros and cons, and do I think the pros outweigh the cons? I think yeah. So going back to the whole PS5 compatibility thing, yeah, the best case scenario is that it's a firmware update. Worst case is you just change the board, and to be honest, yeah, that's all it is. Like, you just change the board. Yeah, it's not a deal breaker for me. I am playing on PC right now and sometimes PlayStation 4, so I am getting use out of this. But for when PS5 comes, yeah, we'll find out then. But I'm not really torn if I have to get a new board. It's going to cost money, that's for sure. But the way that this controller is designed in the inside is that the board is very, very simple to switch it out. So in that regards, yeah, even if you do have to replace the board, it's quite simple to do. So yeah, I think it's still worth it, even though that, we don't know if it's PS5 compatible just yet. So I think this controller is for people who want a no-fuss, solid, all-button controller, and they want it precisely for the weight and the size. I feel like if you don't care about the size and the weight, it might be better for you to actually aim to get a smaller controller. But for me, I like having the stability of the size of this controller. Having it there, like the weight of it on my legs, I feel like it's very, very secure. Yeah, please note that I actually haven't not owned a smaller controller. In an ideal world, I would own both. Like, I think if the ideal thing would be have both, to be honest. Like, have this for home or for tournament, and have the smaller one, just in your bag. Go to locals, if you're busy, if you have school or work, and you want to go straight to locals, I think a controller like that would be perfect. But, if I were to bring a controller to a tournament or a high stakes event, I think, between this and a small controller, I think having this would be like, the obvious choice, because, I just want to be able to, not think about the controller, the size of the controller. Now, another option is building a controller from scratch. So, you don't have to buy a controller like this. I mean, you could just make your own. So while you can make this, my personal opinion is I would still go for this HitBox. The reason so is, while it does sound cost effective to make your own controller, like realistically, it actually comes to almost even or even more money to build a controller similar like this. You'd have to cheap out on like really bad if you want to even cut costs to get cheaper than this, to be honest. One of the big things is the board itself. The Brooks board costs a lot of money. It costs you almost like $100. That's half the price. That's already half, the price of this HitBox. If you want good buttons like the gamer finger, that's already like $50 or more. And then the wiring, and I think the steel case. If you want to get a steel case, it'll cost you a lot more money as well. It actually comes out to be much more expensive if you really think about it. there are a lot of videos out there that actually, you know, compare, you know, DIY and, you know, list their pricing. And then I see it all the time. It's like, even if you find a good bargain, it really comes down to like, you know, $10-20 cheaper than getting one of these. And to be honest, I would just save the extra $10-20 and just go for this, you know, like, and then you have this for, you know, for a long time. And that's not even including, you know, buying, you know, a drill bit, parts, whatever, which, you know, you buy once and then you never use again, and you've already like blown a lot of money. I think the only reason you'd want to make your own controller is if you just want the whole DIY experience and you want to make a controller that's completely yours, you know, that's all for like, you know, ground up, you know, a fun little project. Yeah. So final thoughts. I feel like this controller that HitBox Arcade has made, they've basically got it to a point that it's really good. I think it's really hard to top. The insides are really great. This just a simple thing as adding, you know, a non-slip bottom, removing the legs to make it, you know, similar to other fighting game controllers or arcade controllers, is, yeah, it pretty much does it. If I were to compare this to the older version, and if I would buy that version, I would actually, you know, think twice. But after seeing this, you know, pictures of this, yeah, I would definitely recommend. And now that I have it in my hands, I've played it for quite a while, I can certainly say that, you know, you can't go wrong with this controller. So this video is mainly a review of this controller in particular. This isn't a video on whether or not you should actually pick up an all button controller, or, you know, switch from stick or pad. That kind of video I will probably make in another video in the future. So if you're interested in that kind of video, consider subscribing so you'll be able to watch it as soon as possible. So this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing to this channel. If you want to see me play on this HitBox, I do have a Twitch where I play fighting games. So yeah, consider following me there. All right. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.